1.
So range describes all possible outputs. When I look at a graph, I think about how far down does my graph go and how far up does my graph go. So let's look at an example. Here, I want to think about how far down my graph goes. So I'm looking for the minimum value, and that is right here at this vertex. So I got to look at my y value, which is -2. And it includes -2, and my y values just keep going up. It doesn't stop at 4, right? Notice these arrows mean your graph keeps going up, which means your y values keep getting higher. And that means the range is from -2 to infinity. Make sure you include the -2 with the less than or equal symbol. And you can either write it including the infinity right here. And by including, I just mean by writing it down. Or you can choose to not write the infinity because it's understood. If y is greater than or equal to -2, that means that it's going to be approaching infinity as well. For this example, again, I'm looking for how far down, how far up my graph goes. Because this graph opens down, I'm going to choose to look at the maximum value. So I find this vertex right here. So the highest y value can be is -2. So basically from -2 down are all the possible y values I can have, which can be written one of two ways. I can either say from -infinity all the way up into -2, including the -2, or I can just more simply say everything from -2 and less. With this example, we noticed that the domain was restricted because of this, but for the range, it goes up to 4 and down. Notice that right here, yeah, it goes to, let's see, -21, but if you look at this part of the graph, it just keeps going down. So it's going to include all these negative y values down here, and it's not going to stop just because this part of the graph doesn't extend. So we can write the range is from -infinity, less than y, less than or equal to 4, or you can just say, hey, it's from 4 down. With this example, we're going to have some restrictions, right? It looks like the lowest y value we have is 0, and then it's just like, okay, we keep going up until 9. And so from 0 to 9 are our possible y values. And lastly, we have this manufacturing problem again. We are looking at the items manufactured and the cost it takes to make them. And so we want to figure out this like minimum value right here. And it looks like that's around 8, and maybe we can say like 1468, or we can say something less than 1500, but pretty close to it. And then it's going to have all these y values because it keeps going. And we talked about like theoretically, we're not going to just continue making items forever, but we don't really have enough information to say like the final restriction and how many items are possible. So based on the information that we have, the range is from 1468 less than or equal to y less than infinity. Again, in problems like this where you don't know for sure and you don't have the equation, you have to just make an educated estimation. And again, range is describing all your possible outputs. Make sure that when you're writing the inequality that the y is in the middle because we're describing all the possible y values that you can have for your graph.